Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee, S&S Storm Chasers, and we're going to take a look at Saturday's severe weather threat. It's kind of amazing to me how the overall flavor of things have changed over the last few days, from thinking that weather conditions would be improving and drying out as a weather front comes through early on Saturday, and instead we have a delayed process with what's going on aloft. But the Storm Prediction Center of the National Weather Service has placed an area from the Hudson Valley, eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, to about New York City, and then southward into Delaware and northeastern Maryland at a marginal risk for severe weather on Saturday. And when I take a look at what's going on in the atmosphere, I'm thinking that this looks a lot like what it did today, so maybe the outcome is going to be the same. And in fact, let me just extend this a little further. See if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys, if it's going to let me, or at least I'll focus down a little further south. We're looking at the NAM model taking us through tonight, and it does produce a couple of showers. Now, I'm primarily focused in this area, but you can notice down back through Maryland, there's much less, and in southern Pennsylvania, much less. Much of this is light. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, some showers are around. And then late in the afternoon, you start to see some thunderstorms bubble up. They seem to be some scattered cells along northeastern Pennsylvania and also through central New Jersey. And the NAM model performed pretty well today. So I'm going to think that I'm going to stick with it, because the HRRR model, which is another short-range model that we look at, has been horrendous. It just has been just so off that I'm not even going to waste my time with it. And it's just going to stick with the NAM. And you'll notice that even though it does have that slight risk all the way down into northeastern Maryland, it really kind of focuses its attention in terms of thunderstorm cells late Saturday afternoon across much of central New Jersey, a couple of cells around New York City, northeastern PA, up into the Catskills. And then they just never really organize into a true line. So I'm thinking what we're looking at really is some isolated thunderstorms, and that some of them could possibly get strong or even severe. And notice, as at least when we get to the coastline, a lot of these cells just fall apart, or either that, or they really just don't organize themselves. And again, in the southern areas, there really isn't that much. Now, of course, this is one model's view. There could be other solutions, but one of the things that I've picked up on, and I'm looking here at the GFS in terms of what's happening, we have an onshore flow here from New Jersey all the way up into southern New England. There's a high that's kind of wedged down and a little wave that's developed on a warm front. So we basically got a backdoor front that came through here on late Thursday night, and set up this kind of this onshore flow. That's why today's thunderstorms all fell apart across Connecticut and Long Island, because many areas, especially on Long Island, for example, temperatures never got out of the 70s today, while parts of Jersey reached 90. Now, I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think you're going to see temperatures get much above the low 80s across New Jersey. You have an easterly flow. The marine flow goes in pretty far west, so I'm just kind of wondering as to how much thunderstorm activity we're really going to see, particularly along the coast. But the thing that might be working in the other direction is that we do have stronger dynamics tomorrow with this cold front coming through and low pressure to the north. And in fact, if we just change to the upper air, you'll see that there is, unlike today, when, if I back it up, you can just barely find the kink here in the upper flow. This is a fairly decent upper air trough that's coming through. So that's probably going to lend a little bit of support for some thunderstorm development that might compensate against the marine influence. We're at the time of year where the marine influence should not be as big a deal as it is, say, in May or early June, because the water temperatures have warmed up into the low 70s, but apparently it's still having some impact like it did today. So what this means in terms of the overall forecast is that after we get rid of this on Saturday, even on Sunday, there's still some leftover moisture that's trying to come down and rotate around this coastal low that's southeast of New England on the NAM model, and the GFS is not that different, so it kind of calls into question just how much improving weather we'll actually see here on Sunday. I'm thinking maybe we'll go to a mix of sun and clouds, but I'm starting to wonder whether that's going to be the case, and that we may have to throw in some showers. And then finally, I think by Monday, I'm not buying this stuff, but I'm finally thinking that maybe by Monday, weather conditions will significantly improve. Just real quick on the longer range, as we go through later next week, that ridge does build into the east, so it might mean that we could get some heat issues here as we move along later next week. But I'm already seeing, if we go back up into the upper Midwest, you can already see there's some kind of upper low that's developing there. And I'm just real quick, let me just get to the U.S. region, because I think that might be a little bit better to look at this stage of the game when we're going that wide. So let's see what happens with this. And I'll just shift this over so you can take a look. Here's that ridge in the east. We're now into Tuesday night, Wednesday, and I'm going to have to shift to an earlier run so we can carry it through. And those westerlies, that ridge doesn't hold for too long. We've seen this over and over again. The troughing that wants to form in the eastern states, that's keeping it from getting very hot. So I know a lot of people keep talking about heat wave, heat wave, heat wave. This last 3 days, if you ask me, was no heat wave. And we'll see how it plays out later in the week. I mean, we do seem to be on the edge of a ridge, but those westerlies are still pretty close as we go right through the period. And in fact, look at that. It gets, the troughing in the eastern states comes down as we move into the middle and latter part of the month. So I can't get too excited about long-term hot weather in the eastern states. So the pattern this year really doesn't seem to want to do that or get into that sort of thing. So anyway, just in review, real quick, we've got this, here we go, that marginal risk of severe weather for later tomorrow to tomorrow evening for New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, the Hudson Valley, Delaware, and northeastern Maryland. I'm thinking it'll be isolated severe thunderstorms, maybe some clusters of thunderstorms will develop, and then we'll see what happens when we move into Sunday. So have a great day, and be sure to check out SNS Storm Chasers if severe weather breaks. You want to be there, and of course you want to be on my website, meteorologistjoechaffee.com, and you can find me on Facebook at the same name, Meteorologist Joe Chaffee, on Twitter at Joe Chaffee.